All right, so here is my little commentary or slash review, informal review of Thor Ragnarok. And it is an amazing. I know I say this to a lot of Marvel movies, but just when you think the Thor franchise couldn't get any better, the first movie was just absolutely amazing. The sequel was great. This third movie is looking to be the best one out of the three. I do love the first movie, how he became worthy of the hammer. How it was an origin story, but this one, it has so much elements of the franchise, some Avengers in it, and the Marvel universe in itself. And a lot of people say that the Marvel style of storytelling is overrated. It's not. This is Marvel's storytelling at its best. So, the movie is absolutely funny. 90% of the time you will be laughing your heart out. It is so much fun, especially if you've seen all the movies, Avengers movies, the Thor movies. It is damn funny. um, it's it is Ragnarok. Everything dies. I'm gonna be doing this review with a lot of spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can watch this video after you watch the movie. I'm watching the trailer right now on the laptop, but if it's okay for you to listen to some spoilers and then carry on. Okay, fair warning. All right. Why don't we start with the spoilers, since everyone's just itching to find out that. Yeah, okay, let's start with these guys. Yes, they all appear. This is just in one scene. Most of the time, Hulk will just be Hulk or Banner. Regular Hulk, regular Banner. This is his regular look. That thing with the helmet, he does not wear a helmet. I mean, in the first movie, he did wear a helmet for a short time. Here, he wore it in the Gladiator, in the Contest of Champions thing. That's the only time he did. This is how he looks like. Valkyrie has two outfits. This is her regular outfit when she's in Sakaar, and then when the final battle with Hela, she dons her original Valkyrie uniform. Now, people have been up in arms with Marvel saying, why is she Valkyrie and all that. There were legion of Valkyrie as shown in the movie, and Hela killed all of them. The only reason she survived was her fellow Valkyrie, a fair-skinned, blonde-haired Valkyrie, blocked one of the daggers that Hela threw at all the Valkyries, and she survived. And that's the only reason. And Marvel just decided that she would be the survivor. So I think she was great. I think this was a wonderful portrayal of a Valkyrie for the MCU. Okay, other spoilers. What you've seen in the trailer, yep, everything happens. But in that fight, you think Hulk is just going to dominate the fight, right? And Thor is going to be like a ragdoll. Yeah, it does happen, but half of the time, Thor, using his wits without his hammer, is beating the crap out of this guy. I don't know how to explain it, but he's just so smart at fighting. He kicks the Hulk behind. Seriously. I mean, he won the fight. The only reason technically he lost was because Valkyrie put an electric, it's like, did you see that Star Trek episode where Picard was, he had the remote control and he was like being electrocuted? She attached something there. That's how the Grandmaster keeps tabs on all their gladiators. There's an electric shocker right here, and then the Grandmaster shocked him, and then he delivered the final blow. But he was winning, and technically he did win the fight. So that trailer made you believe that he's just bragging that he won the fight, but Hulk really won the fight. He won the fight. So he just technically lost because the Grandmaster said, he can't win the fight, and it was cheating. Anyway, so that's that. His hammer does get crushed by Hela. And in the end, I was kind of hoping the hammer would just rebuild itself, or Doctor Strange would find a way in the end credits to rebuild the hammer, but we don't see it. I'm hoping in Avengers 3 we get Mjolnir back, but I think that's the whole point of the story. Before I get to that, the reason Hela is able to hold the hammer and crush it was because Hela, as revealed in the movie, is Odin's firstborn. She is the goddess of death. She became the scourge of the universe with Odin. Odin was a bad king. They conquered realms. They conquered 9 realms, and Hela wanted to conquer more. But Odin decided, no, I'm going to be a good king. We'll stop at 9 realms. We'll be great. We'll protect them, and all that. And Hela was the executioner of Odin. She wielded the hammer. She was the one who was worthy for the hammer until Odin decided, nah, she's not worthy, and imprisoned her. And when she was trying to escape from prison, the Valkyries pushed her back, and all the Valkyries died in the process except her. So Hela is Thor's sister, and she was once worthy of the hammer, and that's why she's able to hold it. Now, the whole idea of losing the hammer was very poignant and very important, because the whole movie is about, again, much like Iron Man 3, Marvel is trying to do that tradition of self-searching. Are you a superhero because of the Iron Man, because of the armor? Who makes the man? Is it the armor or is it you? Just like him, in going back to the first movie, are you Thor because of the hammer, or are you Thor because you're worthy? In this movie, are you Thor because, to paraphrase what Odin said to him, are you the god of hammers? Or, not to paraphrase, to parrot, actually, that's what he said. Are you the god of hammers, or are you the god of thunder? And in the movie, he realizes that he is not Thor because of the hammer. He is Thor because he is Thor, and he finds a power within him. And that's what you've seen in the trailer. That's why he's so full of electricity. He is the god of thunder, and his power emanates from within and not because of the hammer. And Odin reveals that the hammer just was given to him so he could focus his true power. Now Odin dies. Odin had to die. I mean, Ragnarok in mythology is the end of days where good loses to evil. The final battle of the gods, the Titans win and the gods lose, and Asgard crumbles. Okay, and that's essentially what Ragnarok is. It's foretold, it's predestined, there's no way of stopping it. Odin had to die. And she says he's gone into exile. Loki took over the throne and all that. It's small minor stories, but the main reason is Odin exiled himself because he knew his time was up, and it was prophesied that he would die, and his power would go away as he died. His power was the only one keeping Hela back from returning to Asgard. So as he dies, he had to die so that Hela could escape and come back to Asgard and conquer Asgard. Now, Ragnarok in the MCU is when Surtur, the great demon Surtur, or devourer being, the scourge of Asgard, destroys Asgard. He would come to Asgard, quench himself with that eternal flame, that one of the relics that Odin's been hiding in his vault, and he would destroy Asgard. And it had to come to pass because Hela's power, she draws it from Asgard, and when she gets to Asgard, she becomes more powerful. So the only way to kill Hela is to kill Asgard, is to destroy Asgard. And that's what happened. Thor, through Loki, with Valkyrie, the Avengers, with Hulk and all that, they make a final battle with Hela, and they use Surtur, because in the beginning, sorry, I digress. In the beginning, the opening scene is how he defeats Surtur, and I was like, Surtur is dead in the beginning? He defeats Surtur by getting rid of that tiara, that crown that he has, and he gets Surtur's mask, and that's how he defeats him, handily. And he was amazing. That was the most amazing fight scene I've seen of Thor. He made Mjolnir move like Jane Foster made Mjolnir move, and it was great. That was the opening scene. Fantastic use of Mjolnir. You knew Mjolnir was going to be destroyed, and Marvel really made a fantastic scene with Mjolnir and Thor, really, and they defeat Surtur. And in the end, and I thought, that's it? That's Surtur? He's just in the opening scene, and then he's gone. And then you realize in the end, he was key to defeating Hela, because they had to unleash Surtur, let Ragnarok come to pass, let Surtur destroy Asgard, so that once Asgard is destroyed, Hela loses power and she gets destroyed in the process. So that's all nice and grand. It's a great thing, and it all had to come to pass. Hela was badass. I mean, Kate Blanchett made a great villain, and I thought Hela was just gonna be going like, you know, I'm a prima donna, I'm the next top model and whatnot, and I'm just gonna go use my powers, and you're all gonna. she kicked some serious behind. I mean, she went to Asgard and everybody revolted against her, and she killed every single person in Asgard. The friends three are dead. I didn't see Sif though for some reason. That was weird. She kills Fandral guarding when she enters through the Rainbow Bridge. Um, Bifrost, she kills what's his name? Heimdall's gone. Heimdall's in exile. Uh, he, and his duties are being take over. Scourge takes over his duties. Um, so he kills, and waiting for Hela is Fandral and Volstagg, and he kills both of them. So they die, and he doesn't kill Scourge because he wants a minion, and Scourge is like the weakling. He decides, okay, I'll be your minion. So because he doesn't want to die. So again, he goes to Asgard, the main city proper, the castle proper. He kills the Asgardian cavalry. Every single soldier of the palace is dead. She like kills them single-handedly. She was like Snake Eyes. She was like Bumblebee. She was like, oh my goodness, I did not expect so much action from Hela. And she kills Hogun in the end. Hogun was the last one standing, kills her. So everybody's dead except for the lady Sif. I don't know why. Is it because she was with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I don't know. But I didn't see her in the movie. Maybe they couldn't fit a contract for Jamie. So anyway, she turned Scourge into her executioner, and she would be the henchman. And in the end, he would redeem himself by saving the people of Asgard, the common people, and sacrificing himself so that they could escape. And that's what happened. Thor was okay with destroying Asgard so that Hela would be destroyed. And his father, Odin, tells him, Asgard is not a place. It is the people. And so by rescuing the people, he still preserves Asgard, even if the physical Asgard is gone. And it harkens back to the comics. I mean, Asgard's been destroyed several times. And it is really, Asgard is not the place, it is the people. And speaking of Odin, Odin does die. And just like in traditional Star Wars or Disney, the Elder, when it dies, becomes like a spirit, like a guiding force, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's how Odin became. That's how Odin was to Thor. His father dies, and he was still with Thor in spirit. And that is how Thor realizes his power. Odin talks to him and tells him, you're strong. You're not the god of hammers. You're the god of thunder. And he says, I'm not strong without the hammer. I'm not strong like you. And Odin says, you're not strong as me. You are stronger. And he finds strength, and he battles Hela and all that because of all his lightning and all that. He is the god of thunder. And in the end, he saves his people. He becomes the king of Asgard. Also, he loses an eye. Hela stabs his eye out with one of her blades. Hela's power, the goddess of death, she just kicks ass, and she can produce so many blades, spikes, axes, weapons from her hands like a magician. That's, I guess, one of her powers. So, yeah. Crazy movie, but more importantly, it was an amazingly funny movie. And I'm not just thinking corny, and I'm not saying corny movie or not corny funny movie. It was hilarious. Not just Guardians of the Galaxy hilarious. If you thought Guardians was funny, this was 10 times funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy. I could not stop laughing in the theater. Like 90% of the time, I was laughing. The only time I wasn't laughing was the serious bits, the dramatic bits, was the end part, and a bit in the middle when they were looking for. But Banner and Hulk were the funniest guys together. She was funny. The only one who wasn't really funny for me was, not the Collector, the Grandmaster. Jeff Goldblum, well, he was a great actor. He's a great actor. I think he played it as well as he could. But the way it was written out, it was the way the Grandmaster was. It was like a Gary Shandling Grandmaster. It was not funny. He was not funny at all. He was trying to be funny. I was just not laughing. Amazingly, he was supposed to be the comic relief, the Grandmaster. He was like supposed to be like a joke. I mean, he was supposed to be Like in the comic books, he was like, "I'm the Grandmaster. You will all fight because of me." And in the movie, he was a joke, not like the Mandarin MCU Mandarin joke, but he was just saying, "Oh, okay, you want to kill them?" It was like Gary Shandling, but he was okay. I guess they needed that. I guess they need that kind of grandmaster. But he was the only one I did not find funny, amazingly. But the whole movie was absolutely funny. She was great. He was great. Okay, let's get on a more serious note. And I think one of the so going back to this Marvel storytelling process, the whole movie is about rediscovering oneself. And when you lose everything, that's when you find your true self. I felt bad that Thor was going to lose his hammer, but then I realized he had to lose his hammer, much like how Tony had to lose his armor. He was his own man. He became like a James Bond, Tony Stark, and here he didn't actually become a James Bond. He was still strong. He was Asgardian, so he was strong, and he found his true strength, and that was great. And and I guess what one of the things Marvel is saying with this movie is sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. And a lot of you are not spiritual or religious or something, and maybe you don't have to be one. But when I look at the movie, I went through several events in my life that you had to lose yourself. You felt in a place, you were in a place that's just so secure, you want to protect it at all cost, and excuse me, something happens and your life gets thrown into the wind and thrown overboard. You lose everything, you lose that sense of comfort, and you think, am I going to survive? And it's happened to me in my life once. I was very young. I thought it was the end of the world, and on hindsight, it happened. That thing that happened to me when I was young made me grow up faster, and it probably was the best thing that ever happened to me. And sometimes in life, you get that. You think you're trying to protect something good, but there's something better out there, and you lose everything. That's when you find everything. That's how you find everything about yourself. And I think that's what the movie is saying. In order to find to find yourself, you have to lose yourself. Also, the other thing is, we keep trying to prevent things from happening. Like, we don't want this to happen. I'm not saying like we just let accidents happen or let bad things happen, but sometimes in life, when you're dreading something like this one, Ragnarok, Thor spent his whole life trying to prevent Ragnarok, and his dad says it's already happening, you can't stop it. And in the end, he realizes it has to happen. Ragnarok happens, Asgard gets destroyed, Hela gets destroyed, and it was very crucial. And that's what's happening. One of the things that's happening to me now, I don't mean to make it too shallow, but as a collector, I'm just trying to relate to you guys. My channel is about toys. It's about toy collecting. It's about toy reviewing. So I'm gonna try and relate it there. The last 10 years, I have been trying to amass a collection of Transformers, Marvel, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, He-Man, and whatnot, and I've been trying to protect it. And I don't want anything to happen to it for a time. This year, I've been trying to tell everybody, I've come to a realization, I just want to keep things that are 100% or buy things that are 100% and sell off everything that's not. But more than that, the one thing I've been trying to protect, not get destroyed, was my collection. I didn't want it destroyed. And I realize now, as I part with it, as I've sold 70% now of my collection, and only keeping excuse me, important ones, it's a very liberating feeling. You're no longer tied down to something plastic, something that you know is not going to get valuable over time. It's going to lose value and all that, and you're hanging on. And I realized this year, I'm hanging on to nothing. I'm hanging on to pieces of plastic that are nothing. That's not me. I'm not the collection. And a lot of it had, and a lot of this, well, a lot of this realization came early on this year, and it was just strengthened when I met Ash Rock. We had a good talk. Ash had told me, I had to let go of some of my collection because it wasn't just doing it for me. And I came to thinking, maybe I could do the same thing. Maybe I gotta start thinking about my collection. When I came back from the US after that talk with him, I looked at my collection and I was like, this is not me. It's like Asgard. Nothing lasts forever. You don't have to hang on to it. And the more you try to hang on to it, the more you get bogged down, the more you dwell on what you don't have, on stuff that are negative. When you start letting go, that's when you start getting stuff. I mean, that's when you start getting better. That's when you start feeling better. I don't know how to explain it, but the best way I'm trying to do it is trying to relate my experience with this movie. And that's one of the realizations I've seen. Once you start letting go, and I know a lot of collectors, I've met a lot of collectors, they say, I can't let go of my X-Men collection. I can't let go of my... Then don't. I'm not forcing you. I'm just trying to give you a perspective. And I was trying to tell people, look at what you have. Is it really that important? I mean, is that the most important thing in life, in your life? The most important thing is family, is people. Everybody dies at the end of it all. You lose everything. And stop trying to hang on to stuff you know you're gonna lose. And that's what Ragnarok is. That's what Odin was trying to tell him. You can't stop things. Just let it go. And something beautiful is gonna come out of it. Don't get stuck with your hammer. You are not the god of hammers. Don't get stuck with Asgard. Asgard is not the place. In the same line, don't get stuck with your collection. I am not Chefatron because of my collection. Well, I don't know. Is that what you guys think? I'm Chefatron because I have this massive collection. Well, I've realized that this year. It's a shallow thing, I know, but I'm trying to relate stuff to my channel, and that's one of the shallow things I've realized, that I am not my collection. And if I get rid of my collection, I make another collector happy. I get rid of something I don't really like 100%. I mean, it's just a toy. I'm more than the toy. I know it's trying to justify, but I was in that place. I did not want to get rid of stuff, a lot of stuff. And I told myself, all that collection intervention, things you see on YouTube and all that, people are saying, oh, you gotta let go. There's a shrink. They come to the toy collector, says, oh, you gotta grow up. You know, I said, that's never gonna happen to me. And well, it hasn't. I'm not about to stop collecting. What has happened is you realize you gotta let go. Sometimes when you let go, that's when you get it. That's when you get things. And very sublime, very trying to be deep here, but that's the best thing I can get from this movie. It's all about losing yourself to find yourself, which is the recurring theme from Iron Man 3, Captain America 3. I mean, Captain America, he had to lose who he was. He was a fugitive. He found himself. Who was he? What was important? Was it the law? Was it turning over his body? Or was it friendship? And in this regard, what was important? Is it your hammer? Are you the god of hammers? Is it Asgard? And yeah, you have to lose yourself. He lost everything. And that's how he found everything. He found himself. And again, the second thing, the takeaway, is stop trying to prevent things from happening. You are a minuscule speck in the universe. You may have millions in your bank account, billions, I don't care. At the end of the day, you're gonna die. Sorry to be morbid, but we are a fleeting speck in this whole cosmos. In the grander scheme of things, you are a tiny, tiny speck, insignificant, and you're all gonna go away. And realizing that, makes us significant. I know it's very contradictory, but when you realize you are nothing, that's when you begin to grow. That's when you begin to realize your significance in life. Because life is fleeting. Stop worrying about the senseless little things and start worrying about the big things and the more important things. Family, friends. Don't let anything get in the way of that. All right, I've said enough. This commentary has gone on long enough, but The movie's going to get obviously a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love it. Go see it with your family. Go see it first if you want, then go see it with your kids so you can enjoy the laughs on your own. And then when you watch it with your kids are just going to get the 50% of it. And there are 50% of the jokes probably the kids won't get, so you'll have to do some explaining. But if you've seen the movie beforehand, you're gonna like. I am about to see it again, not later, but tomorrow with my other daughter, Chloe. We're gonna have a blast, and I'm gonna enjoy it even more. But it is amazing. So a few more spoilers before I go. End credit scene. Yes, there are two, but they're not that great. I'm sorry, Marvel has run out of ideas, and the first end credits is actually after the title credits. So the title doesn't come out in the beginning as traditional Marvel, and once the movie ends, then it comes out. Marvel Studios and all that, the top billing actors, and then Thor Ragnarok. And after that, the opening credits, or I should say end opening credits, Thor and Loki are talking on the ship they escaped with it's like an arc. It's like everybody, all the Asgardians are there, what's left of Asgard. They're flying into space, and Thor is thinking about going back to Earth. And Loki says, is it a good idea? And he says, yeah. And then Loki says, is it a good idea to bring me back to Earth? And he says, it has a way of working out. Things have a way of working out. And so Thor, right there, already believes that things will be all right once you let go. And then, as they're flying, a great big ship appears. And they just look, and Thor, everything's gonna be all right. And he just is shocked at what he's seeing. It's a big, big ship. I could not describe the ship in great detail because the lights had been turned on, but as I can make, it's like alien rock metal type of, kind of reminds you of the Chitauri. So I'm guessing that's Thanos' ship, and that ship blows up their ship or something, and then Thor gets, if I'm guessing, I'm not saying this is the end credits, but the end credits stop when they see that big ship, and then they're just agape, and then that's it. That's the first end credit scene. And if I'm going to speculate, we see some snippets of Avengers 3 that Thor lands on the windshield of Rocket's windshield, the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, and they haul him in, and he says, who is that? And so I guess he gets thrown out or something like that. Maybe he tries to, and I don't know. But I'm guessing it's Thanos' ship. He's trying to look for the first stone, the Infinity Stone, the space gem, which is in the vault in Asgard. And as Asgard's destroyed, it's probably just flying out there. The second end credit scene, which happens after everything, all the credits, is it's not as bad as the Captain America end credit scene of Spider-Man, but it's right there. It's the Grandmaster, insufferable Grandmaster. He comes out of a port, the door, maybe ship crash and all, and says, oh, hey, everybody. And it's like the scavengers of Sakaar, and they're about to get him. And he says, oh, you made a revolution. Good job, pat in the back. And I played a good part too, right? Who knows, you had to overthrow somebody, like, so yay. I was like, it was boring. It was like, he was trying to be funny, but it didn't work for me. So that's the two end credit scene. A couple more spoilers. Odin's vault, Hela. That's Hela raids it, because underneath the vault, that's how she unleashes her army. She resurrects them with the eternal flame, which is the gem of the vault. There was an infinity gauntlet there. She says it's fake, throws it away. There was like a small square that was like glowing. I'm guessing that's the Siege Perilous, or I'm missing something, or that's the what was that mirror that turned Angel into a cosmic angel? Oh, it was an X-Men crossover. I can't remember what it is. I'm so bad, stupid. I can't even remember it. It's like when you enter through it, you become your full potential. It was a gift from the Celestials. I'm guessing that's it. And then the Tesseract was there, the cube, and then she sees the eternal flame, and she uses the eternal flame to resurrect her army and all that. So, and it was funny because Loki also goes to the vault to get the eternal flame, to get Surtur's mask, and it resurrects him. But he looks at the Tesseract. He says, It was funny. The whole movie was just damn funny. I'm not gonna spoil the funny bits because that would be just mean. Because You gotta enjoy the funny bits on your own. Super hilarious. Um, maybe I'll tell one funny thing, which I thought the funniest of all the jokes here. Okay, so Hulk's beating him up. Then he gets up. He beats the out of this guy. He finds a way to kick him around, and he's like slumped. The Hulk is like slumped on the wall, and he's like coming to the Hulk and says, "The sun's getting low, big guy. Come on." He reaches out for Hulk's hand, and Hulk goes like this. And it was like the most hilarious thing I have ever seen. He's trying to do the Black Widow stuff on him, and he was like, oh my goodness, it was funny. And then I'm not gonna tell you what happens next, but that was like the funniest thing. I was laughing. I could not stop laughing. The sun's getting low. Anyway, last thing before I go. There's a bunch of cameos. You'll know it when you see it. Black Widow also. There's a bit of Black Widow there, but the funniest cameos were Loki, disguised as Odin, has put on a play of how the tragic death of Loki, and all the actors who played Thor, Loki, and Odin are cameos, and you're gonna see it. It's funny. And Stan Lee, last thing. Stan Lee does appear in the movie, and he is the barber. He's the one who cuts Thor's hair. And I've never seen Thor whimper or scream like a girl. I've seen it twice. When he does it twice, when the Grandmaster kills a prisoner or one of the gladiators beside him, and he says, "Ah!" and he's like screams like a girl. And then when Stanley's about to cut his hair, he begs like, "Don't cut my hair, don't cut my hair." I've never seen Thor do that, and that was like one of the funniest things. So, okay, enough. Go watch it. It's amazing. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be better than Justice League. 10 out of 10. Absolutely wonderful. Hope you've enjoyed my little commentary / review of Thor Ragnarok. Thanks for watching.